This ain't bad. I think it'd be a lot to. Good morning and welcome to successcafe.tv. Apologies for being late. It's totally my fault. Can't explain. Yeah. Can't explain. It's pointless. I couldn't avoid it. But all I say is I couldn't avoid it. Anyway, so how are you, Warren?
I'm good, thank you, man. Fantastic, actually.
Good weekend?
Yeah. I had a pretty good weekend, yeah. Good weekend.
Good.
Quite a successful weekend. What about you, Paul? We haven't spoken, actually.
No. Very busy. Had a business function on Saturday. That was good.
Mm-hmm.
So apart from that, there's lots. I was just full up with stuff. So just it's just the trouble is if you don't, when you spend most of your time sort of relaxing and preparing, when you don't prepare, sufficiently, give yourself enough time, it all goes haywire.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those days, I'm afraid. So
something we're going to talk about, I think, right?
Yeah. So the headline is "Rise Above Your Challenges." I was going to say circumstances, but it wouldn't be far different, I suppose. But so how do you rise above your challenges, Warren?
Bury my head in the sand.
Yeah, look, everyone gets challenges. Things go wrong, people are late and things like that, and we just have to roll with the punches a little bit, I suppose, and get on with it. I hate being late. Really do. It's really not me, but
yeah, I'm the same. I almost get anxiety levels of anxiety if I'm late. I really don't like it. Yeah, ever since I was a kid.
Yeah. I always used to love being early because if you get there early enough, you're the first.
Well, it's not always the best thing being early if you're the shy one. You know what I mean? If you're the shy kid or whatever, it's not always the best thing being there first. But
about 30 seconds left.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of keeping other people waiting.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
So anyway, I apologize again.
That's okay. Yeah.
No, it's okay. So we've got to be prepared to fail, and that really is. Not only have we got to be prepared to fail, we've got to be prepared for odd things to happen that you're not expecting. And just use it and move on. Yeah, it's going to happen to all of us at some stage. I don't think you should panic like I did.
Is that what happened? You were panicking, were you?
Well, yeah. No, not panicking, but I was just thinking, oh no, So, but one of the big things is when things start to go wrong is having your ambitions got to be big enough to swallow it.
Yeah, that's the key.
You've got to look at the bigger picture. Bigger picture is always the most important thing. And what is the bigger picture? Well, the bigger picture is your outcome, your wants, your desires, your dreams, what you're aiming for, your target, however you want to put it. And we do. I mean, I notice it when you're driving, and you pull out in front of someone. You're not really pulling out in front of someone. You're not doing anything dangerous, but you've come out this side turning into the main road where the car's coming along.
Oh, yeah, the slipstream.
His plan, the other driver, his plan is, to go at a Pacific speed and get where he's going and have no challenges. He's not thinking about challenges and hurdles and all this type of thing. And there he is. You've just pulled in front of him. Not dangerously. I don't mean that because he'd be right to be annoyed. But hang on a minute. That doesn't compute. That wasn't meant to happen, And or it can be far worse, where it's disrupts your whole day, and it is difficult sometimes. And normal behaviour is to get annoyed, and that's fine. It's okay to get annoyed.
Okay. In that moment, it's okay to be flustered.
Yeah, but within seconds, you've got to refocus, reset, and get back on what you're doing.
We used to have the opposite happen to us on the roads in Dubai, where you have a 6-lane highway, and the speed limit is up to 160 k's an hour in some cases, depending on where you're driving.
A bit like an autobahn.
Or a bit like an autobahn, yeah. And then you got some guy who's completely switched off, doing about 150, 140 k's an hour in the fast lane, completely forgetting where he is, and all of a sudden realizes at lastminute.com that he or she needs to take the next exit. So they literally veer across 6 lanes like this. Doing that kind of speed. And you have to learn how to take it in the moment, because otherwise you can freak out, and that can cause carnage. So it was a good lesson for me, at least, on how to deal with the unexpected.
Well, and coming down a little bit from that, I remember my first time I drove in the USA, and everybody tailgates you.
Okay.
You know? It's so dangerous.
Yeah, that is very dangerous.
So
somebody was tailgating me recently. Yeah, I know this is a bit of a sidebar, but nevertheless, it's an interesting story. Somebody was tailgating me here recently, and as I managed to pull in front of somebody else in the slow lane, I braked. I was well ahead of the other person. Okay, but I braked because I knew that the guy that was tailgating me would have to brake himself. Okay. And he got so angry that he tried to run me off the side of the road, but I just kept driving.
Yeah.
I didn't move. I didn't veer or anything like that. And because I didn't veer, he had to then correct, because otherwise he would have smashed into the barrier, because he tried to run me off the road. I didn't move. So he had to swerve even harder to get back to not crash into me. Because they would expect you to swerve, right? To avoid them hitting you. But I didn't. I thought, no, if you hit me, and that's your fault. That's not my problem. And then he ended up almost smashing into the middle barrier, the barrier that separates the oncoming traffic and stuff like that. And that's learning how to deal with an unexpected situation. But it's a different scenario.
I can't say I've had that one. I've had someone where someone's tried to drive me off the road, and like in the films where you move out of the way at the last minute and they go straight into a concrete bollard.
Oh, yes. I've
had that once.
Oh, okay.
That's even more fun. I think he was biting his fists a little bit, and I just drove along smiling. I actually didn't do anything wrong. I wasn't doing anything wrong. He was trying to force me off the road. So
same as this case. Yeah,
I have to say he lost temporarily. So that should give you a clue. But anyway, let's talk about. Okay, so
what are we here for?
Sorry.
What are we here for?
What are we here for? When the going gets tough, the tough get going. How many times have you heard that? Sounds good. I suppose it's right. But it's very frustrating. Because you get difficulties along the way. And it's how you deal with these difficulties that allow you to rise above your challenges. As I said, you can all be affected negatively easily. Okay. But the trick is to move back into the positive frame of everything as quickly as possible. Now, if something happens to you, it could be anything, absolutely anything that you perceive to be negative. What happens is it derails a lot of people and disrupts their day, sometimes disrupts their week, their month. And you should never let it get to that stage.
In many cases, it disrupts their whole life.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know that some things can be traumatic, and some things will affect your life. There's no doubt about it. And there's not a lot you can do about it apart from, do your best. But what we're really talking about is the everyday things, that really are unimportant. This is the difference. When you deal with the unimportant things, I know they're important at the time, but when you actually analyze them, they're not. You've got to let them go. Just let them go.
True.
Right.
But even the smaller things can affect people for the rest of their whole lives. You go back to traffic.
Yeah.
You have somebody that has the same job for 20 years, and every day they have to drive through traffic for 20 years to get to and from work. And that affects their whole life, because that's all they can think about is the fact that they have to get into that traffic for the next hour and a half to get to work.
Yeah.
So what it does is it literally has that knock-on effect for everything else in their lives, because they become consumed by the that uncomfortable as part of their lives, which is so minute really, but it starts to, it's like a bacteria, just kind of like a fungus. It just kind of like, it evolves and it takes over everything.
Yeah.
And people just get, there are people that they literally get anxious before they go to work in the mornings. Or on a Sunday evening, they're starting to get anxious already, anticipating having to drive in the traffic the next day, for the next 5 days, every day. So, and it consumes their life, unfortunately. Yet
Yeah.
it's such a small thing.
And on the other hand, is that you can't be expected to smile and be happy all the time.
No, you can't. It would be nice. It would be nice, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so you're allowed to have the hump. You're allowed to be annoyed. You're allowed to be angry, not over the top, but you're allowed to be angry, because you have to let it out. Okay? So you can't be happy, smile, and dance a jingle 24/7, 365 days a year. Just life doesn't work like that. Okay? But letting something over. Oh, my phone's going off. Oh, it's my daughter. I'm not going to talk to her though. Goodbye.
Is that her ring?
I can't get rid of it.
Is that her specific ringtone?
Hey,
Is that her specific ringtone?
Yeah, it's got big business. She has, so she obviously wants me to do something. Yeah. So I apologise about that, and it shows how unprepared I was for the Facebook Live.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, look, the bottom line is, there's a few things you can do along the way if you want to overcome or rise above your challenges. And the first one is overcome the problem of failure. You are going to fail. You have to accept that. All right? It's not a problem. If you're not failing, you are not going to succeed.
You're not learning.
You're not learning. And look at it like it's learn, grow, move on. Learn, grow, and evolve.
Because this is what people forget, that there is the yin and the yang, the dichotomy to everything in life. No matter whether you've been successful all your life, there's always been some little failures here and there. There's always been something that's kind of held you back, or stopped you, or prevented you, or challenged you, or halted your progression. So it's imperative that we do experience failures. But we don't have to make them big things, though. This is the key as well.
Yeah, that's right. I got a little bit annoyed the other day when I wouldn't say lost a bit of money, but it went out of my bank account.
Okay.
But I kept an even keel on it, and do you know what? Within the hour, I had more than double back from something else.
Oh wow! Okay.
So sorry.
Good for you.
Yeah. So. I mean, it's just that's when I always talk about roll with the punches, and that's what you're gonna have to do. Just keep an open mind, keep a smiling face as much as you can, and things will work for you as long as you move with the universe. If you fight against the universe, I guarantee you will lose. You have to go alongside it and work with it.
Or as we say, we use the analogy of the river: flow with the river. Don't try to swim upstream.
Well, unless you're doing Olympic training or something, but generally speaking, no, you go with the stream because it's easier.
Yeah, it is. It makes more sense.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean to say that you're going to be awkward just for the sake of being awkward.
And it also doesn't mean that you're going to alwaalways just take the easy route because it's easy.
No, that's right. That's exactly what I meant. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got what I meant to say.
Sometimes taking the challenging route is the easy route.
Yeah. So you're always going to have your objective to aim for, and that's what you should be aiming for. Don't stay down long enough to be counted out, as we used to do in boxing. And there's opportunities. The more positive you are, the more opportunities you'll see. All right. So the second thing is, be honest with yourself. Know that you can't control things a lot of the time. There's some things you can control, but there's not many of them.
very few things
Right.
in our life we can actually
So
control.
control what you can control, like your attitude, your temper, your objectives, your outcomes that you're going to move towards. Stay focused and stay, as much as you can on one thing. But when things go wrong, just laugh if you can, and just move
Yeah,
on.
that's easier said than
Take
done.
10 minutes off. Take 30
Mhm.
minutes off. Go and reframe. Go and reset. Go and do some breathing. Go and watch something funny, and then come back.
Wash your face, wet your hair, all
Yeah.
that kind of
Well,
stuff.
absolutely. That's a
Yeah,
big one, because we do health and wellness, and trust me, putting cold water on the back of your neck or all over your head, and that works wonders, and that's
it
medically
does.
proved, by the way.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You mentioned what did you mention? You mentioned laugh it off. This is one of the key factors of our human conditioning is that many people have forgotten that we can control our emotions.
Yeah.
Our emotions are not a switch that just gets switched on and off by external influences. Many people they seek happiness, or they seek joy, or they seek financial success, they seek business success through external sources rather than finding it within themselves. And the same applies with our emotions overall. All emotions: joy, anger, depression, anxiety, exaltation, whatever you love, any of those emotions we can control. So we can
Absolutely.
determine when and where we experience them. So, this is so important, that no matter what your circumstances are, if you're able to control your emotions around whatever's happening, the ability for you to be able to overcome these challenges are so much greater, because we're able to keep a steady mind, right? A steady state of being, able to think a lot clearer and respond a lot better as a result of that. And we're not so reactory. Rather, it's what's the flip side of that? What's the flip side of reactory?
Proactive.
Proactive. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
or reactive and proactive.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, just this is another thing that I find through experience, is that many people don't realize that they are able to control their emotions.
Yeah, I mean that's quite a big one, because but you also have to understand when you get upset or something, you have to understand the triggers,
Mm.
because you'll probably find they're the same triggers that are setting you off every time.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So you understanding them is halfway there. Whether you can disband those problems at all by knowing the triggers, I don't know. It's going to be different for everyone, but I look, there's times I get upset about things, and it's always the same triggers, always.
It's invariably
Yeah, yeah.
invariably.
So,
And then people stay upset, or they stay angry.
yeah,
Okay, because of their ego. I'm right. What do you mean? I must be happy. I must be angry because I'm right. You know. So, and they won't give that up, because they want to remain in that state until they're proven right. And
yeah.
then when they're proven right, then they're happy. Then they're okay. But that's your ego saying, you must remain
Well,
angry.
it's funny you should say that, because I have, I'm not going to go into it, but I had my views on the vaccine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
We all do.
as we all do, and we're all entitled to our opinion. We shouldn't have a go at anyone else for making decisions. But I forgot what I was going to say now. Yeah, basically, you make a decision, but it's not. You may not necessarily be right.
Yeah.
So whatever stand you take, you may not
Yeah.
necessarily be right. So you must allow other people to make their decision.
Yes.
And I actually hope my stance is totally wrong. That's
Well, yeah. I mean, your stance and my stance are very similar on the vaccine
yeah.
front. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's the same. I'll ditto that one. Is that I really hope, I pray that the way I see things is not the way that they are at the end of the
No,
day.
that's right. Yeah.
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 For the
Hey,
good of everybody.
yeah, absolutely. I think we all want the same thing. We all want this to be gone. We all want to be
Mm-hmm.
healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody works towards being healthy, of course, and that's another thing you should. Um, that's another thing you should think about. All right, whether you want to be healthy, but that's for another thing. But What you should be doing is focusing on nurturing you.
Oof,
Okay,
that's
so
a
that
hard
you
one.
improve and you get better, and deal with upsets much better, much more. Um, make it not. You can't. I don't think you'd ever make it a fun thing, but just be kinder on yourself. Don't beat yourself up. And we all suffer setbacks. So
Hmm.
you got to view it in the right way and think, okay, it'll go, it'll go, it'll be done.
Allow yourself to be more effective in the outcome for yourself, and whatever that looks like for you, whatever enables you to be more effective,
Yeah,
that's going to be uniquely yours.
yeah.
So find out what enables you to be effective, and how that can change, how that is able to change your perspective or your perception on what's going on.
Yeah, that's right. And that you do that through Kaizen, which is never ending improvement and growth.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you've just got to keep chipping away and getting a little bit better and improving things and not knock yourself down too much, because we all do that.
Yeah, we all do
Yeah,
to
yeah.
some extent. Yeah,
But some make a career out of it.
true. Some people really do make a profession out of knocking
Yeah.
themselves down, and I wonder how they still get up sometimes,
Well,
because.
yeah, that's right, because you could really slaughter yourself.
But that just shows how it just also again it shows how strong our will is, our gumption in many
Yeah,
cases. People have that, but they don't realize that they got it because they keep knocking themselves down. Yet they still get up every morning and they go to work and they do whatever they got to do, and they have a family sometimes. Yeah, so it's a testament to how resolute we really are. But
yeah,
we don't need to be doing that to ourselves in order to be that, resolute, or to have that fortitude. We don't need to be knocking ourselves all the time. It's really unnecessary. And you're never going to face the challenges that you could face by doing that, because the bigger the challenge, the bigger the outcome. Yeah. So
absolutely.
it's the bigger the solution.
So yeah, the next thing was sort of finding some inspiration and support, which is in abundance if you want it.
If
Sometimes you
you
don't
want
think
to.
there's any there. It's there. It's waiting for you. Sometimes you just have to ask.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of ways you can do it. You can do it by live speaking to people. You can do it by listening to people recorded things, watching videos, reading books, and things like that. And there's loads of stuff out there. And I'm not going to promote anything because you've got to go and find what works for you. You
Mm.
know, and that goes with courses as well. You
But
have to go out there.
community is so important, though, Paul. It really
Absolutely.
is.
We
Yeah,
can't.
especially today.
Right. If I say to you that people like Warren Buffett can't do it alone,
Yeah.
right? And when I say abundance, I'm not talking about, at this point, I'm probably not talking about money, but everything's abundant. Everything is abundant. There's loads of it out there.
Oh, there's no
You know?
shortage of money, that's for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I get that. I've been short money in the past, and sometimes it's not very nice, but you have to change your way of thinking.
No, but I mean, on a bigger picture scale, there's no shortage of money.
No, there isn't. No, there
There's
isn't.
enough money for everybody to be happy.
And I can tell you, having been a business that we sold 3 packages for a total of £22,485.
Is that all?
Yeah. Okay. And I've sold something that's $27, and it's just as difficult or easy, depending on which way you look at it,
Mm-hmm.
to sell the same thing. I'm telling you now, the price really doesn't matter. What matters is the people will say they're going to buy and then don't buy. And because it inspires remorse. Oh, I wish I hadn't done that. It could be £5, but people do it in small amounts. It's not. You know, it's another whole nother subject. I don't really want to get into that, but I mean, but it is about attitude. It is about. I mean, when I go out and buy, I buy what I want.
Yeah, this is what people
There is no
also.
going back. There's
Yeah,
no going back for me. If I decide to get something, I'll get it and deal with it. It's just bought something for $4,000 the other day. you know, and I didn't give it a second thought. Yeah, could I afford it? Probably not.
And now you're second guessing it.
No, I'm not. I haven't done at all. It's
No.
I haven't, and it's so it's not necessarily the amount. It's your attitude towards things.
Mm-hmm.
You obviously wanted it for a reason, So if you really want it, and if you really think it's going to be helpful for you, or you really love it, like when I bought an Audi TT once, I went to the showroom and said, I want an Audi TT. So it was just in a matter of putting the colours and the style and all that together, because they've got a good way of doing that. It draws you in and getting plenty of yes questions answered.
Okay. Yeah.
But I told them I wanted one. I wasn't leaving without one. So then the bad news came. Sorry, you're gonna have to wait 12 weeks. Unless we get one earlier. But it saved me some interest. Anyway, so when things do happen, all right, you've got to find a constructive approach to dealing with it. In other words, you need to break it down a little bit and see why it's happened. Can you improve things? And you learn from an adverse situation. And that's the way you move forward. And maybe you don't make that mistake again. Hopefully you don't. Unlike me, sometimes I have to make mistakes 6 times in a row or something before I
before eventually gets in there.
Yeah.
And it's that's the same. That the same applies to when we hear something from people. Sometimes we need to hear it like 6-7 times before it actually clicks.
Yeah.
But making the same mistake 6-7 times is a lot harder than having to hear something 6-7 times. But this is how so many of us live our lives. We keep repeating the same mistakes over and over and over again. I'll put my hand up.
We've all done it.
Oh yeah.
Just a couple of points, because I'm going to hopefully finish at 30 minutes. So, one of the important things is stop mulling over what's gone wrong. Now, you know what I mean by that. I don't mean looking at it and seeing how you can improve. What I'm talking about is moaning about it, whining about it, being the victim about it. Right? Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter what it is. You have to be aware, deal with it. Know it's there. It's not going to go away sometimes, and learn to incorporate it in your life and deal with it. Some of them are really, really difficult to do, but you've got to. Even Tony Robbins says that, and he's talking about being raped. You've got the murders and things like that. So he's talking at the really high level stuff, and he's absolutely right, because otherwise it would just absolutely ruin the rest of your life.
Yeah, it's just eat away at you slowly but surely.
So you've not only got to move on, and we're not saying forget things, but you move on and learn to adapt to it and deal with it. Don't hide it, don't bury it, because it will come out on another stage. Deal with it
somewhere else. Yeah,
somehow. Yeah. The last thing is having a clear out. Now, that could be your office, that could be your mind, could be anything. All right, could be your living room. Purge all the negativity from your life. If you need help with that, get in touch with us. But I've already mentioned how you would do that. If you're slightly on the depressive side, go and stand in front of a mirror for half an hour and smile without stopping, and see how you feel. Yeah, you feel at the end of it. Little things. Smiling, watching a little bit of comedy every day. If you love reading, go and read. Don't starve your mind. There's a million and one things you can do. Go and walk in nature. Go for a swim.
If you're feeling bad and depressed about things and bad about yourself, don't go to Netflix and start watching some crime drama or some kind of mafia related subject matter, because that's just going to get you feeling even more. I mean, I watch that, but I'm not watching that if I'm feeling depressed and down.
No, that's right. Yeah, you're saying it's more.
Yeah, but I go watch a comedy, as you say. It's been proven with people in hospitals that are watching comedies on television recover so much faster than those that are sitting there watching the news. Yeah. It's been proven. On average, the person that's in hospital could be the same operation, same condition, whatever. If they're watching comedies, they get out of hospital much faster because they're laughing more, their body's vibrating differently, their body's healing, your energy changes, your disposition changes. It's proven. So use it, do it. It's a very simple technique as well.
So rise above your challenges. That's the watchword, and you can do it. I don't care what it is. We can do it because we do it as well. We look. Everyone has bad days. You just got to deal with them. Some of them are horrible.
Oh yes,
but most of them are nice. Well, you should be. If you're not, you probably really need our help. No. So, anyway, with that, we're gonna say goodbye and wish you a fantastic week. Warren, do you want to say last word before we go?
No, just thank you for being here with us, and please remember to share and like and subscribe and all of that other stuff if need be. If you haven't yet, and just show some love. Send us some comments and engage with us. And as Paul said, if you need help with any of the stuff that we're speaking about, then reach out to us. Don't be afraid to raise your hand and ask for a helping hand in return, because we've become conditioned again to not ask for help. And we think that asking for help is a weakness. It's not a weakness. It's a sign of maturity. It's a sign of awareness and consciousness if you're asking for help, because you are aware of where you are and you're not afraid to try to get out of that situation. So ask for help. Okay.
Absolutely. With that, we wish you a great week. Enjoy. If you have any questions, get in touch with us, and we will be with healthierlife.tv on Wednesday. For this one, we'll see you next Monday. So have a great week. See you later.
Bye-bye now. Take care.
Bye.